Hey, this is Eric Haugen with Vox, and this is part 3 of my How to Become a Double Stop Scout series. Hold on, let me turn off my harmonic tremolo here. What's going on here? Just to review, a double stop is anytime you're playing more than one note at a time. Really, it's anything. For us guitar players, we do tend to think of it more in a soul, R&B, blues kind of thing, so we're sticking with that. I've really just been sticking with A minor in all the videos in this series. There's a few more to click around and watch if you are intrigued by this. So, and I'm dealing right now only with minor and minor pentatonic. Here's the deal. If you got this A minor bar chord here at our 5th fret, 5, 7, 7, and some more 5s, the natural scale that wants to work with that so comfortably would be our minor pentatonic, which, again, this is usually the first blues scale we ever learn. 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 5, 8. Our old friend. What a great scale. Still a great scale. I know hundreds of scales. This might still be my favorite. So we had dealt with a couple of other types of double stop note arrangements within that scale and in that scale and chord structure. Today we had done the flatties, which, just a quick review, a flatty is just if you see a note, you're like, well, I bet I could mash that other string down too. Wait, oh, that one fits underneath. Oh, that fits. So we dealt with flatties, slidey flatties. Today we're dealing with diagonal hammer-ons. These are very Hendrixy, these are very Cornell Dupree, Curtis Mayfield, and they require a little more technical finger dexterity to get them. So let's say we're on 5 and 5 on the G and B. The diagonal hammer-on is, I'm calling it diagonal because I'm actually looking at 7 and 5 there. Those two, and spotting that. Oh, that's a cool shape. There's all my diagonals. Oh, by the way, if you're on YouTube, there are slowdown gears over here to 3/4 speed. If you're on a tablet, up here, 3/4 speed. Spacebar pauses, arrows go forward and back. Useful way to work with guitar stuff on our streaming services here. So yeah, I could have just done straight diagonals, but those are a little, not much to those. So the cool thing to do is, say I think I was starting at 5 and 5 on the D and the G there. You hammer on the 7 of the D, but you leave the top there, that G string rings through. That's hard to do. Now notice my hand angle. Usually when you play, fun rock and blues guitar, you can kind of bring the thumb pretty far up and kind of have your fingers at an angle like that. But you might be able to get it clean, but you gotta watch out when you have that angle. It's very likely these fingers, these knuckles get choked and close together, and you might choke that string out. So the other hand angle for guitar, instead of, this is the focal point, is instead of this, sometimes with guitar, if something is technically tricky and stretchy, you have to rotate around more like this, where your knuckles are more straight lined up with the fretboard underneath. Your thumb is more in between your index and middle finger, so that you can more... It's crazy because when I watch Hendrix play with his giant hands, he could do these with that other technique, but not me. I have to straighten my hand out. And again, the other bit of wisdom I'd like to pass on to every guitar player in the world is that if you have a good idea on one group of strings in a scale, you can easily move it to other groups of strings in the scale, thereby getting the most mileage out of every little idea that you have. Wow, that's like a, 6 for the price of 1. I can't overstress how useful that is. So then, for practicing things, I always think it's a good idea to do a bar of a groove and then a very simple fill. A simple fill. It's just quarter notes and eighth notes, nothing too crazy. You know, always think more in terms of soundscapey, minimalist, rather than hot lick, impress your friends. That type of playing, or at least that type of practicing, for me, I think is not very helpful. I think it's actually destructive. So keep it simple. So let's take a groove I like to call the rock bossa, which is, okay, it's a variation of Neil Young groove or a variation of bossa. Yeah, I like to break things up so you kick the bass, because bossa nova will always have that. So we're doing a rock variant, a Steely Dan kind of. I'm going to slow it down to be a good guitar teacher. And so the little fill I'll throw out that 5. Let's go, yeah, let's start in the middle again with the 5 and 5 on the D and the G, hammering on to 7. And we'll get that little 7 there on the A. So groove it. I'm just going to stick with that one. Then, again, according to my friend Jeremy coined the term Haugenomics, we can move that up to another string grouping, the same idea. And that's the same thing, 5 and 5 now on the G and the B, hammering onto that 7, and then grabbing that 7 now that will be on the D string. So fun, so simple, so fun, so useful. We'll leave it at that for now. Stay tuned for one more in the series, which, yeah, you'll see. I'm calling it End Boss, where we combine everything.